Hello and welcome back. We are in the car again today, heading over to the scene of a horrific murder that took place at a Walgreens. A young woman, only 17 years old, had her life taken by a 28-year-old man who was her coworker. And this is especially horrendous because she told Walgreens a year ago, when she was 16, that this guy was harassing her, and she asked to never be put on the same shift as him, and yet she was on the same shift as him, and he did away with her. More details are coming up as we head out there. Fasten your seatbelts. This is the Walgreens where 17-year-old Riley Whitelaw lost her life. She was murdered by a coworker, a creeper, most likely an incel, involuntary celibate. He was fixated with her. He harassed her. He made unwanted advances towards her. She complained to management on numerous occasions, and he was never disciplined beyond getting a talking to and told that he needed to act in a professional manner towards Riley. The first time she complained, Riley was 16 and this guy was 27. He's currently 28. Riley turned 17 in January. She went to her manager a little while back saying that she wanted more hours, and the manager said that if she wanted more hours, she was going to have to work with Joshua Johnson. The 28-year-old coworker was a creep, and you can see by his pictures there's no wonder that this awesome 17-year-old girl, 16 when he first started harassing her, didn't want to have anything to do with him. She's a high school student. She was a straight A student. She was also a member of her school's color guard, so she did those cool acrobatic dances with the flags at halftime shows for the school. Just an awesome kid. She was really artistic. She had really great taste in music. My favorite band there. She volunteered at the Humane Society, and she worked at Walgreens part-time. When she asked for more hours, she was told that she was going to have to work with Joshua if she wanted more hours. They wouldn't accommodate her. They didn't do anything to protect her. She was a minor child coming to them and telling them that an adult male was doing unwanted advances towards her, and they did nothing except tell him, hey, Riley complained she didn't like that. And that's it. I think they should have fired him. I think they should have protected this kid that was in their employ. So yeah, I'm really disappointed and upset with Walgreens and their practice of not doing anything about harassment in the workplace. And it has cost this young woman her life, and who knows what all she could have accomplished. There are so many people that are missing her, her family, her friends, people whose lives she impacted. There's a memorial set up outside of the Walgreens where people have been putting flowers, notes, and stuffed animals. Riley's family have set up a GoFundMe that I'll link in the description in order to do scholarships in her name. And Joshua Johnson was in court. He is going to be having his proof evident presumptive great hearing on August 26th. I'll be following that. It would be really awesome if he would just go ahead and plead guilty, because it is obvious he's the one that did this horrible crime. The details leave no doubt that he is the responsible person. What happened was that at 5:30, Crystal, one of the managers, noticed that Riley hadn't made it back from her break. So she did a brief look, didn't see her, called another manager on the phone and said that Riley hadn't come back from her break. So that manager came to the store and went over the surveillance video and saw that Joshua was in the break room and he was stacking boxes and totes and stuff up to cover the camera so you couldn't see in the break room with the cameras, and he had already taped paper on the windows so you couldn't see in through the windows either. And there was a sign, closed for cleaning, so nobody had gone in there. So the second manager went over and opened the door, and he immediately recognized Riley laying there on the floor, deceased, blood everywhere on the cabinets, on the walls, pooled around her head. And he called 911, and law enforcement got there right away too. It was a truly horrific scene. Because of seeing the police there, a customer who had been in the store earlier came back and talked about something disturbing that had happened while she was in there shopping. She had heard a woman screaming, and she thought she heard locker doors slamming and stuff. And there are lockers in the break room, so she may have heard it happening. Anyway, everyone that they spoke to told law enforcement that Joshua Johnson had been obsessed with Riley, and she had been very worried about him and his behavior, and that she was complaining about him officially. And so that was their main suspect, and they did find him. He was walking along I-25 near Trinidad, which is some miles away, and they picked him up. He's in El Paso County Jail right now. And after he was Mirandized and everything, they talked to him, and he said that he had been in the break room and that he had slipped in the blood and was covered in blood. So he went outside to change near the dumpsters. The manager, Crystal, had gone over by the dumpsters looking for Riley and heard a man's voice say, "I'm changing in here," and she saw feet, so she took off. And she told the other manager about the man's voice, and he had gone over to the dumpsters, and there was no longer anybody in there, but there was a bottle of bleach in the dumpster. Joshua admitted that that had been him in there. He's the one that dumped the bleach in there. He said that he had changed his clothes at home immediately after he left Walgreens because he slipped in blood when he found Riley on the floor, but he didn't tell anybody about it. This is his story, though. We all know he's the one that killed Riley. And he denied stacking those boxes up to cover up the camera, even when he was confronted with the surveillance video showing him doing that. What a piece of work. So, Joshua, when he was arrested, had scratches all over his face. You know, look at this guy. He must have been some sort of incel, involuntary celibate, because who would be with a creeper like that? Anyway, he told the police that he used to have a crush on Riley, but he didn't have a crush on Riley anymore because now he's together with Crystal. Well, Crystal is that manager who told the police just how creepy Joshua was and about Riley complaining about him. And she never mentioned a thing about having some sort of relationship with Joshua. So I suspect that this relationship with Joshua is all in Joshua's head. And he really needs to be off the streets. He needs to be locked up for a very long time if he's ever let out. This is just a horrific case. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And, you know, words are not... Oops. Found Crystal. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Yeah, do that like and subscribe. Smash that like button.